decided to come down to the lovely waterfront while I wait for an hour for prescription medication to be filled. What I've decided to do is, a few weeks ago I got back on course with exploring what medical interventions could be done about my weight. It's been slowly getting worse after a win in 2014 of 30 pounds. That heavy dieting is still kind of keeping me at that level, and every time I blink, pause, space out, burger, pizza, any of those, they turn into me gaining weight. So it takes a lot of effort to hold place, and the slightest lack of effort means I slip. So I decided to see what could happen if I went through an endocrinologist and said, what's my deal? Well, she did a bunch of blood work, and what's my deal is my testosterone is crap, my vitamin D is poor. Ironically, I say that in a bright sun when Canada and web development equal me never getting enough sun. But still, that's the thing. So I decided to embark on that course. What's really lit a fire under me is last Friday I was invited out to go to a friend's place and hang out for beer. I decided, I was tired and I'm an introvert and I've got other chronic stuff that says I just don't want to travel. So I said no. Fast forward 48 hours and he's in hospital. Fast forward another 24 hours and he's getting fit with a main line for leukemia. The Friday invite wasn't a surprise of that. The Friday invite was they were oblivious to this. And inside the span of 72 hours, they went from a family that was just living life as normal to him going on a heavy course for chemotherapy. That's how fast life can change. And in the last few years, well, not last few years, in the last 14 months, I have seen a former brother-in-law die in his 40s for heart attack when he otherwise wasn't overtly unhealthy. A friend of mine who was 1 year older than me died of organ failure last year, so roughly the same age I am now. And another relative, extended family relative, she died 5 days into retirement. She had a lot of chronic health stuff, and she never really, I don't know if she really faced it adequately head on, but she got 5 days of retirement before it was all over. So, you know, there's only so many wake-up calls and alarm bells that can go off next to you before you realize you've got to get more drastic. And the diet and exercise approach wasn't doing it, so the alternative is to continue the diet and exercise, change up the diet and exercise, but also see if I can break the logjam by going for meds. So while it seemed like crap testosterone was the easy approach to address, just use testosterone, which helps to do a lot with your body, especially in a 50-year-old guy's body, the endocrinologist instead suggested a medication called Saxsenda. And I'm going to link profusely about what Saxsenda is and how it behaves. But what Saxsenda does is it suppresses appetite. It behaves in a way similar to how insulin works to change up your glycemic index. It does a lot to give you a full feeling, and basically it comes from the saliva of Gila monsters. Gila. The hell's that for a great spelling? Gila monster. And what it does is they can survive long periods in harsh environments with very little food, little water. And it's because of something in their makeup that they can extract and turn into a pill, or in my case a shot, can be used to suppress my appetite, let me live on little. Basically switch off the impulse that puts me in front of the fridge for snacks, in front of larger portions. And it affects more than just the psychological aspect of, do I think I'm hungry? Which I know I have been misfiring, and I will sit there and I'll know I don't need food and I do feel hungry. So my response has just been to tough it out. But subconsciously you're always saying, well, it's time to eat because you're hungry, when my body is not hungry. So this will partially address that. and in the last week or so waiting for the thumbs up for the drug company, or for the extended care company to give the thumbs up to the drug being added to what's covered for me. I've done a lot of stock taking and said, well, this is probably going to help, or nothing else, it's worth the experiment. It's not going to be an inexpensive experiment. I'm going to get the sticker shock in a few minutes when I pick up the prescription, but it's important to do this. My wife made an impassioned plea that I wasn't supposed to die on her, and while that seems kind of a little trite, having outlived a younger brother-in-law, having outlived a friend who was just roughly my age, having known that at 50 I am technically 15 years away from retirement, and that somebody I know only made it those 15 years in 5 days, that I need to do this. I didn't need extra warnings, and I don't like that the universe gave me extra warnings in the form of a friend who's now going to go into the fight for his life for leukemia. But they're all there. You really need to listen. You have all the chances in the world. I have all the chances in the world. So I'm just going to take this chance.